Welcome, Dr. Green. Now, I'm not quite sure what we were talking about, but one thing I do want you to talk about, and we're going to do this out because we have to take a break.
Okay.
And we're going to do this after the break. But I wanted you to talk about what you're doing in Oklahoma Baptist.
Yes.
And some of, particularly the experiences that your students have had in your kind of innovative, we call it service learning, I think, with your micro internships in the Oklahoma, communities. I think that's really fascinating. This is Mercy Russell with a Remarkable Relationship Show. I'm here today with Dr. Daryl Green, and we're talking about his career and higher education, and hopefully we'll make it exciting for you. We'll be back after the break.
Have something important to say? Want to help improve our world? Need to promote your business uniquely and effectively? KKNW is the answer. Our staff helps broadcasters and podcasters create professional sounding audio. Bring your talent and let our experts help you craft a radio show or podcast that best delivers your message. Learn more at 1150kknw.com. That's 1150kknw.com. KKNW, talk variety that's live and local. Make it a great day. Keep your dial on Alternative Talk 1150.
Hello, this is Mercy Russell with a Remarkable Relationship Show. I'm here today with my guest, Dr. Daryl Green. We've been talking about his career, historically Black colleges, and what I want you to talk about, Daryl, now is exactly what work you're doing with your students at Oklahoma Baptist Christian University, and I'm particularly interested in a particular project you have with micro internships and how you've affected the community in Oklahoma with that.
So that's a great question. So I'm at Oklahoma Baptist University. I'm the Dickinson Chair. I want you to think about this. It's a great school. I like my colleagues. In the 100-year history of the business school, the 100-year history of the school, I'm the first African-American business professor.
Is it a historically Black college?
It's a historical Southern Baptist.
Southern Baptist. Okay.
Oh yeah, Southern Baptist. So it's a Southern Baptist school. So it's my colleagues, I love them. They embrace me. They let me be myself. So let's talk about the way I think. I think very different, because here's the thing. I came out of industry. So I come out of industry and I'm teaching, which is highly different. Especially 20, 30 years ago, you're a suspect because you didn't go all the way through school. I worked through school, which is uncharacteristic of traditional professors. And we talk about breakthroughs. Breakthroughs happens when you bring different experiences, different expertise into different. And that's what I've done. Have an engineering background. Dealing with nuclear projects, dealing with world-class people. I bring that skill set, and what I like about the school that I'm in, the business school, they allow me to be myself. And even in the business world, there was always a ceiling. We don't want you to do that, it was out. But now I get opportunities. So I teach marketing, leadership, operations, project management. I teach all of those things. And what I try to do is something, you talked about service learning. It's been called service learning. It's been called, we call it experimental learning. And so it's hands. I give every class, there's a hands-on component. And I teach very differently. We talk about innovative approaches, is that 90% of the professors, they teach, the way that they teach is what we call subject focused. They focus on the subject. They probably give, like you got an hour class, they're probably giving a 50-minute lecture. The students are taking notes, supposedly, But the problem is it doesn't resonate with this generation of students. I will be honest with you, it didn't generate with me. I'm Generation X. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
The
it didn't really
professor
resonate with me either.
Yeah, professors were boring.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how is that relevant to me? But I think that's the way I teach really student-centered learning. I had to understand about Generation Z. That is the current generation born 1995, 1996. Afterwards,
It's called Generation. Excuse me. It's called Generation.
They're called Generation Z.
Z.
As opposed to Generation Y, which are millennials. They're also called Nexers. But they've never known a world without smartphones and social media. Their life is an open book. And so in the classroom, we tell them, don't use your technology. I'm going to sit through, and one of the characteristics has been said, maybe laughing, is that they have attention spans of 8 seconds. But the thing is, you're doing a 50-minute boring lecture that has no relevance for the students. They're playing on their phones. They're goofing off. They're not paying attention to you. And what are you doing? What do you do for an assignment? You give them a quiz and an exam. And it really does not speak into that. And so what I have tried to do is I make it relevant. I make them career ready. And we talk about how to be professionalism. We give feedback. And one of the things we talked about, the micro internship, when we talk about traditional internship, traditionally, you're working with an employer. A lot of times in the summertime, but the micro internship came out of the COVID. So students were forced to work remote, and so companies like Parker Dewey started making assignments, working with companies to allow the students to work remote. So the characteristics of a micro internship is primarily working remotely. And it's project specific. A lot of times in internships, students don't know what they're doing. They filing papers and doing some other stuff, but it's very focused. And so that's what I've been focusing on. I've been actually doing research. I'm going to come up with some research soon on that. But I think between, again, traditionally, I've always tried to work with my business partners because they help prepare the students. In my history as teaching since 2005, private students have helped over 100 companies, and I probably put in 3,000 consulting hours. And the students do it free because they're getting experience, especially dealing with COVID. The employers get fresh ideas. They get people that are digital natives. They understand the landscape, and I think it's a win-win situation. I think that's the wave of the future. Most of the schools, like a school like University of Oklahoma or LSU or University of Tennessee or Florida, these huge schools with 100 students, 200 students in the classroom, they do not have time. And here's the thing I think about what sets Oklahoma Baptist University apart is that we're hands-on. I know my students by name. I could get on them. I say, you need to do better. I have a personal relationship. That what makes it very attractive because it's all about relationships. How big is Oklahoma Baptist? So in the heyday, we had over 2,000 students. I think we're a little less than that with dealing with COVID. Yeah. My average classroom was about 15 students. 14 students. Wow. Yeah, which is real nice. And most of your students come from the region. I would say a large part of the students, again, as we know about the pandemic, most of the students have chosen to stay closer to home within the state, but we do have a lot of students coming from Texas. It's a border state. Yeah. And I would say also Missouri and Arkansas, but primarily would be Oklahoma and Texas. All right. Well.